New York Knicks trade rumors are heating up as day one of the NBA draft is just days away. Mitchell Robinson and Mikal Bridges seem to be like they are two players the New York Knicks are taking and maybe even making calls on when it comes to a potential trade. We're going to break that down in a second, but first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be live for both days of the NBA draft. We'll be live multiple days for NBA free agency, and we put out free videos every single day. So if you love the Knicks and you want to join the best community on Knicks YouTube, hit that sub button right now. Happy draft day to everybody but Leon Rose, because it seems like he does not celebrate this holiday. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got some rumors to discuss as Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson find themselves in trade rumors once again. I want to go to this really just social media interaction is what I would call it. Stephen Bondy, who's covered the New York Knicks for a long time, just pointing out that Mikal Bridges is now eligible to sign a contract extension. He can sign a deal that is up to 4 years and $156 million. Then Frank Isola, friend of the show, what's going on, Frank, quote tweeted Bondy and said, one of the reasons Mikal Bridges' name has surfaced in trade discussions, according to several team executives. Mitchell Robinson is another player being discussed, and Isola is kind of alluding to the fact that he is worth potentially 4 years and $156 million is why he is up for a trade, because the New York Knicks may not want to pay that. Mitch and Bridges are extension eligible. And we've done this song and we've done this dance just last summer with Julius Randle. And I stood right here and said time and time again, if Julius Randle does not sign a contract extension, they are going to trade him. And then it came out that the two sides didn't even engage in contract negotiations because they were so far apart on terms of a deal. And now, if Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson do not sign those extensions, they could find themselves on the way out. This is just how the New York Knicks operate. Ever since Leon Rose became the head of basketball operations for this organization, he's pretty much been consistent. I want to have deals be longer than 1 year. I don't want expiring deals of players I want to keep around. And even if I don't have long-term plans of keeping that player, I want to be able to trade that player maybe this year or next year, but most importantly, I don't want that player to enter unrestricted free agency and potentially leave for nothing. And that is now where Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson are walking towards. You look at the cap sheet for the New York Knicks, and Mikal this year is making $24 million. Very reasonable. He's not going to be making that on an extension unless he takes a major discount, which he somewhat hinted at when he first joined the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, on the final year of his deal, which was a descending contract when it comes to the value, is making $12.9 million. But I could see Mitch getting close to 16, 17, 18, even more money than that, because Daniel Gafford just signed a $20 million contract. And if both players are healthy, I'm taking Mitchell Robinson by a landslide, and I think most general managers in the NBA would agree. Let's talk about Bridges. Should a contract extension be presented to him? And if so, which I do think it should, because you just traded the farm and you probably don't want to have him leave free agency for nothing. How much is he worth? Look, I think it was, even Bridges would say, an up and down season for him with the New York Knicks. There were some really nice highs, like the game on Christmas Day against the San Antonio Spurs. And he was able to find his gear later on in the season. And he had some awesome moments in the playoffs as well. But it was not perfect by any means. Had the awesome game and the awesome shot against the Portland Trail Blazers. Had 2 game-sealing defensive plays in the playoffs and multiple game-sealing defensive plays in the regular season. Ask the Brooklyn Nets about it, or Brooklyn Nets Frequent, or whatever that loser is on Twitter. Knicks Frequent, Nets frequently worse than the Knicks. Mikal Bridges had ups and downs. And it took a long time for me to accept this. If you take away the price of acquiring Mikal Bridges, which was the control of 6 first-round picks, 4 from you unprotected, the Milwaukee Bucks pick that conveyed this year, and the control of a future pick swap. If you take all that away, Bridges was solid for the New York Knicks. But the facts are the facts. You don't trade 6 first-round picks for solid production. And I'm not sure that he is worth $40 million. OG Anunoby makes $40 million. And I think there's a pretty large gap between Anunoby and Bridges. And if you're going to pay a player $40 million, you need them to be all-star, all-NBA caliber players. And I'm not sure if Mikal Bridges is that or can be that. Maybe there's a new coach that can unlock him. I'm hoping so if he stays here. But the facts are this. If the Knicks and Mikal Bridges fail to come to terms on a contract extension and they're not able to get a deal done where he stays with the New York Knicks for a while and they have to potentially walk down the road of him being an unrestricted free agent, the Knicks are going to trade Mikal Bridges. Like, if the Knicks and Bridges cannot come to a deal and sign something before the season starts, they are most likely going to trade him. They did that with Randall. That's how Leon Rose operates. So keep your eye on that. I think you have to also ask the question, does Mikal Bridges want to be here long term? Playing second fiddle, but being held to superstar expectations. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting summer for the Knicks and Mikal Bridges. We got to talk about Mitchell Robinson as well, as he was mentioned by Frank Isola. But the 4th of July is right around the corner, and I'm going to be wearing my Knicks gear on 4th of July because that is how I roll, and you could do the same by going to chatsports.com/KnicksUSA. That's chatsports.com/KnicksUSA. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description of this video. Mitchell Robinson. I think the New York Knicks could offer him a extension prior to the year. I think that's way more likely for Mikal Bridges, and I think you can make the argument that Robinson may be more deserving of that. But they find themselves in that same boat, entering a contract year with unrestricted free agency around the corner. Look, Mitch was awesome in the playoffs this year. Like, he was arguably the second most impactful player for the Knicks, especially when you just look at the on and off numbers. You can make the argument that you don't beat the Boston Celtics without Robinson, and I'm not going to push back on that. We know what Mitch is, a really good defender. He's grown as a defensive IQ player as well. He's also one of, if not the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. He brings a presence and a player profile that you just do not have on this roster. A switchable big that could protect the rim. And the offense is limited. We know that. He was great in the playoffs. The swings in games you would see when he would come in the Pacers series, in the Celtics series, it was great. But it's the same situation as Bridges. Like, the New York Knicks aren't going to leave themselves ass out of Mitchell Robinson leaving for nothing in free agency. And I think that it could be a little bit more likely that they look to move Mitchell Robinson. And I've really thought long and hard about this, and I don't mind selling high on Mitch. Is his stock ever going to be higher? Just had an awesome playoff run. Showed he could stay healthy. Showed he could play big minutes. Started in the Eastern Conference Finals and made differences in those ball games. Maybe you look to trade him for, I don't know who, somebody else at a different position that could help this team. And I'll always be worried about the durability. Like, if the Knicks do sign Robinson to a big money extension, which he does deserve, I'm going to be worried about the durability. And that's going to make me second-guess the move every single time I don't see him suited up playing 30 minutes for the New York Knicks. And, like, Keith Smith, he did an offseason preview, and he presented 2 extensions the Knicks could sign. Mikal Bridges, 3 years, $111 million with a player option in year 3, $37 million of average annual value. I don't hate that. Mitchell Robinson, 3 years at $48 million. That's 16. I don't hate that either. But you're also paying Karl Anthony Towns $60 million. And then you'd be paying Mitchell Robinson $16 million. And you'd be allocating $76 million to the center position. And that's just a lot of money. Like, that's not really how NBA teams that have won championships in the last 10 years have been built. Like, there's only limited slices in the salary cap pie to pass around. And if you're going to allocate $76 million in one single season to the center position, you better have some really other good players around them. Can you find a way to swing Robinson for an impactful player? Maybe it's a guard off the bench. Maybe it's a 2 guard that could start, and Mikal becomes a 3, and OG's the 4 again, and Karl Anthony Towns is a 5. Is there a wing that's a 3 and D, 13, $14 million player that can help this team? Like, I'm sure there is. It's going to be a tough decision for this team. Is Ariel Huck-Porty ready to become the backup full-time center for this team? Are you going to go out and sign somebody else? Like, Leon has tough decisions to make, and there's no easy path to really those decisions. And the Eastern Conference is wide open with injuries to major stars on other teams. It's the biggest summer of Leon Rose's career as the head honcho of the New York Knicks. The East has never been more wide open. And last year we said it would be a failure if you didn't get to the conference finals. If you don't get to the NBA finals next year, it's a failure. And more heads could roll. Who do you think is more likely to be traded? Is it Bridges? Is it Robinson? I'd keep your eyes on both these guys. I like them both. I really want them to be here. But the way the Knicks operate, if you don't sign that extension, you're kind of signing your name on the dotted line to be traded away from this team. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. And we're probably live on the channel when you're watching this video, breaking down the NBA draft, myself, producer Alper. So subscribe, turn those notifications on, join us, and let's go.